Hello, everyone. I'm here in the Teahouse, and I'm just trying out this live feature that I just learned about. And so I learned about this on a podcast about YouTube, and I decided to give it a try. I'm not really expecting anyone to show up. If they do, great. If not, great. Well, let's get into it. So, one of the ideas I had for a YouTube video is to talk about some of the things a small business can do to make money or to grow their business. And I've been doing the tea business now for 20 years. Yeah. I started the business in 2004, so 21 years or so. And it's been a lot of learning and a lot of trying a bunch of stuff. And I was thinking about making this video about what a small business owner can do to make money. One, because it's something I'm passionate about, but two, I think people are pretty interested in making money. And third, I would just talk about things that I have done personally. So there would be obviously a lot of things that I haven't tried, and I probably won't talk about those. But these are things that I've personally tried and I've experienced some success with. And I think that it might be helpful. Well, I hope it'd be helpful to anyone out there operating a small business. Because from my own experience, I'd just say that it's pretty complicated. How do I say? The landscape of running and operating your own business is challenging, not just in the fact that it's challenging, but there's so many contrasting views and so many opinions or not like ways of doing it. And it takes time. It takes a long time to learn and develop your own way and a way that works and to learn what works. So let's see. I don't even know where to really start with this topic, but let's just get into it and I'll just start and maybe I can come up with some things that I was going to talk about. And one is your list, right? How do you get a good list of customers? How do you get a good list of people that might be interested in your business? And that takes time. And I'm still learning how to do this. Even after doing business for 20 plus years, I started when I was 30, and I often still feel like a beginner because, well, let's just start with talking about the list. Your list of customers, your list of people that you want to market to, and this list, it comes about over time. And you can I'll tell you guys one thing I just did. It was really helpful. I heard about, the importance. I was reminded about the importance of creating the list, the customer list, or the list of people that are interested in the business or service that you provide, or the product that you provide. And so when I was reminded of that, and I was reminded of the importance of that, I realized that on my website that is jtinternational.com, jteainternational.com, the thing is that it's not very obvious about how to join the list, how to become a subscriber to the newsletter. I created a 20-page PDF document that we call the Guide to Tea. And that's a gift. It's a free gift that you get when you sign up for the newsletter. And so I figured, okay, that's my offer. That's sort of what I'm giving people for signing up, my incentive. But what I failed to realize is that my form, I've done pop-up form before, but those are annoying. And also, yeah, I get it, they work or whatever, but I got some feedback that people had already entered their email information and the pop-up would still happen. And maybe it was because their browser reset, or, it's a lot for the system to keep up with. They're not necessarily going to be flawless in the way that it keeps up with that. So I'm somewhat against pop-ups, even though it might be an effective way. But what I did instead is I just basically created the sign-up form for the newsletter, and I put that right at the top of within the first core chunk of the header, talking about, here's our PDF, here's our gift. And just today is Monday, and last Friday I had just manually entered people that people will opt in here at the shop. And so I just finished manually entering those on Friday. And then Monday morning here, I went and checked the CRM, is that what it's called? I use MailChimp. We're still using the free version. But basically I went through and looked at who signed up, and it was 10 new people signed up over the weekend. And it shows you where they signed up from. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Got 10 new people that are saying they're interested in our product, our business, and giving me their email address. So the list is critical to develop. Another great way I've found to cultivate that list or to grow that list is when you go to an event or you go to a trade show or any type of event, even when you're out in the community selling your product at where you're, basically have a home away from home sales center, bring your list, bring a form for people to opt into your list. And then they can say, and you can incentivize that. You can say, like I said, I've got that 20-page PDF, or you could say, sometimes what we'll do is we'll do like when we're at the tea trade shows and stuff, or the tea festivals, we'll say that, you get when you put your email address, you give it by giving us your email address, you enter to win $45 a tea or some random amount of tea. And then people have the, opportunity. But another cool trick I learned was that in order to announce that winner, what you do is you say that our winners will be announced on the newsletter. So then it also encourages people to actually open and read your newsletter, because a lot of people might subscribe and you get a certain percentage that's your open rate. It might not be super high or whatever, or it might be, fluctuate, might be depending on how well you write your newsletters and that. So yeah, you can create the incentive for people to read your newsletter. And let's see, what else? What was that reminded me about the list? Of course, anyone can ask me questions, but oops, where did I go? Okay. Let's see, what can we do? There's a list. We need to get, what was it? I forget. I'm forgetting what I remembered when I was trying to talk about some of the things a small business owner can do to create a list. It takes time, but there's the email version of your list. And then what I really like too is the hard copy address, physical address, because one thing I really like to do is send postcards. And so in the newsletter, we're often talking about the new products that we get in. Basically, the main focus of the newsletter is the new products that we get in, but also like the new teas as they're seasonally available, but also the events that are coming up, because we do certain tea tasting events. And so that's, but then I was realizing, one thing that would be really fun too is to talk about some of the fun health and wellness things I've learned over the years and tell people how to do those activities because again, a lot of our focus, or a lot of what our company offers, even though we're not directly a health and wellness company, but I feel like a big part of our brand is health, and a big part of why people, again, one of the other great things I learned recently was take a piece of paper and fold it in half, and on one side write down the business people think we're in, and then tea business, tea sales, whatever, and then on the other side you write down the business we're actually in, and then you have whatever that list is, and we created that list, and it has things to do with community connection, growth, like in terms of intellectual growth or learning, that type of growth, what health, right? And so it's quite a long and fun list. And when I created that, I realized, wow, a lot of our tea community, they might be interested in some of these health practices I've learned over the years and such. So I'm going to start sharing those on the newsletter. But with the physical address, like the mailing address, that's the one where we're going to send postcards through, and that's the one where we, have more like promotions or discounts or special offers, right? So those are two. Right now, that's the way I'm looking at those, as two different lists, and how we're going to operate those lists. Again, let's think about the subject of growth, right? And that's another subject that is going to be prime in this topic of what a small business can do to make money. Because if you aren't into personal growth, it probably isn't a good fit for you to be a business owner. Honestly, I can tell you that one of the biggest joys / challenges of running a small business is the amount of learning that is necessary to survive, but also to just be able to keep going. And yeah, so I honestly can say that the person I am today is not the person I was, a year ago, and so on. So it's like a continual journey, and I would encourage everyone to just to learn as much as they can about business. But there's so many different perspectives on business, right? So it's like it takes quite a while to sort of filter through all of the philosophies and strategies. And for the most part, like when I read a business sort of how-to business book, I'll pick out like some gems will just shout at me and say, do this. This is super easy for you. You can do this right now. And then I'll just do it. And then that will occupy quite a bit of time, executing that and learning about it or seeing if that works or not, but trying to be consistent and do that over time. That takes some time, but I'm also trying to keep learning. And one of the sources that we can learn from is Audible, right? Like get an Audible subscription and just download your free business book, or with your subscription, you can get one book a month or whatever. I typically go for the business or different kind of improvement books because that is like gold, right? Like if you learn how to work with yourself to become better at business, that's going to help your business, right? But also, so Audible is a great resource, and then Spotify has free books. Well, when you pay for your subscription, you can get a lot of business books, and there's so much stuff on YouTube, and so on and so forth. But what I was really going to say about that is one thing I've noticed is I learned so many different things from so many different people and so many different um, ways of, philosophy, life philosophy and stuff. I'm the person I am, and I know who that is, and you know, this is me. But the world is so big, and there's people with completely different point of view or way of living and so on, that I still learn from those people. Just because someone has a different approach to life or a philosophical standpoint on life, it doesn't mean that, oh, that's not the kind of person I am. I learn from so many people that might be considered, like, I don't know. I mean, probably I don't want to be like those people. Like, I don't want to be that person, but I can still learn from them. So I think that's really important. There's a huge amount of knowledge, and I would encourage people to learn from other generations, like people that are older than them, find mentors. And, this is all part of my life philosophy and how I run my business. But yeah, there's so many things to learn, and it's just really exciting. I'm honestly of the opinion that learning is the antidote to aging. So again, you want to learn, you want to keep going, you want to try new things, and so on. But yeah, thanks. It's just kind of fun trying to do this live thing. I'm not sure how to do this, but I'm just making it up, and we'll see how it goes. Cheers. Thanks for watching.